just arrived in another world. And your fiancé immediately breaks off the engagement in a domineering way. At first, you're shocked. Then you're absolutely delighted. You never expected such a dramatic thing would happen to you. So you directly shouted that classic ebb and flow of fortune line. And even wrote a divorce letter. Everyone assumes you've been driven crazy. Even your fiancé, who's about to join the immortal sect, thinks you've lost your mind. He left without looking back, thinking there's no point arguing with a fool. But only you know what this truly means. Crossing over and getting the abandoned fiancé scenario again. If this isn't the main character's script, who is the main character then? But after waiting 3 days, the golden finger didn't arrive as you expected. But that's fine. You're very patient. In the divorce letter you wrote, for 30 years the river flows east. Then another 30 years it flows west. So there's still 30 years left, right? 3 months later. Could it be someone stole my golden finger? You suddenly realize, is there a final boss who woke up early and took my cheat ability? Stole my golden finger in secret. These days it's popular for big villains to steal other people's golden fingers. So you start running around tracking it down. 3 years pass with no results. Not even your cultivation advances. This disappoints your father deeply. He thinks you went crazy after being dumped, decides to give up on you, and starts grooming your half-brother instead. Though his potential is a bit lower than yours. He makes up for it by being smart and clever. That's always how the struggle for succession goes. By the time you realize, it's already a done deal. You've become the abandoned one. You have a huge argument with your father, Sunan, and leave the family. You want to prove yourself. Even without the Su family, you can still become a local boss. 30 years later, you're not exactly a powerful leader, but you've become the captain of a mercenary group, hunting monsters with your small team. Life's been comfortable. Thinking of Li Qingyu, who dumped you. She already broke through to the Spirit Mark realm and became a core disciple of the Azure Sky Sect's elders. You feel it's finally time to get your cheat power. After all, you're already middle-aged. If nothing happens soon, you really might not make it. Is my cheat ability have many children and much good fortune? You consider for a while. And remember, that woman who's always followed you in the mercenary group. You met her after leaving your family. She too had left her own family. Her name is Liu Shuji. That same day you got married. In a flash, another 30 years of ups and downs passed. The children and fortune system you waited for never appeared. But instead, you and Liu Shuyi had a lovely daughter. And then a son. Both are quite talented. Now both are in the spirit gathering realm. Daughter and son both attend the 5 prefectures academy. Their futures won't be like yours, risking their lives in a mercenary group. Suddenly you remember. Yesterday, you heard that Li Qingyu already advanced to the sea-crossing realm and is an elder of the Azure Sky sect. Maybe. Li Qingyu doesn't even remember you exist now. And you are already old? Your cultivation is only at the peak of spirit gathering. And you lack peerless prowess at your level. So you decide to leave the mercenary group with your team. You settle in a city called Chongchuan and make a new home. You establish a new Su family there and invite all the major factions. That night, an uninvited guest shows up. Your brother, now also white-haired like you. You suddenly feel calm. You hold some hate, but time has worn it down. That night, your brother talked a long time. After you left, Mother fell ill with heart disease. She passed away 20 years ago. Just a year ago, Father also passed away. He was thinking of you till his last moments. He wanted to see you one final time, but you denied him coldly. Watching your brother, Suzu, walk away, you wipe your moist, tearful eyes. That other Su family, there's no going back. This is your home now. That night, you got completely drunk. Never bully the poor and old. You are old now. Even Liu Shuyi was buried by your own hands. At the same mountain where you first met. On your 100th birthday. Still no cheat system. You know today's your birthday. But also your destined time. Fortunately, all of your descendants and the Su family's core juniors are sent away. The old Zus elder from next door broke through to the Linyuanjing realm. Took over the entire city. No second opinion is allowed. You picked the wrong side. You thought the city lord would break through first. Instead, you were killed by Qi Lian's betrayal. So of course you were wiped out. The door was kicked open. An old man walked in slowly. It's the Su family elder, Suba, a lineaging realm powerhouse ready to face death. Even if very old now, his experience in the mercenary group wasn't for nothing. A young man walked out behind him. He carried several severed heads. When you saw their faces, your expression turned ugly. Then you died. 100 years of ups and downs. In the end, your clan was destroyed and you died. In a daze, you seemed to hear the young man who entered say, "What a shame. This old man's 2 kids and several elders fought to the death." Even knowing in advance the Su family's escape route, sent people everywhere to block them. Still, some Su family juniors escaped. Subai frowned and said, "If they escaped, then send people to chase them. The Su descendants sent away must be the exceptionally talented ones. If they grow up, there'll be trouble for our Su family. If not for obtaining a sea-crossing realm expert's mantle, maybe it would have been the Su family that was wiped out." Finally, your consciousness faded, but you weren't completely gone. When you realized you were dead, you found yourself in a strange space. Damn, that Su old dog was really lucky. Thinking back to Suba's last words, you're still upset, but right now you can't bother with any of that. Because your cheat ability finally arrived. First, you were wild and reckless in your youth, made many mistakes, suffered hardship after running away from home, and eventually established a family, became the founding ancestor, started a branch and left a legacy, left your mark in this world. Even through the river of life and death, your legend still circulates within the city. Your life was pretty remarkable. Rating, White 3 stars reward, 30 destiny points. Please allocate your destiny points for the next life. Add points to talent. Add points to comprehension. Add points to family background. Add points to state of mind, +5. Hint: destiny points can be spent right away, or carried over to the next life. But after one life, all but your state of mind will reset. After reading the boy's introduction, you spend all 30 destiny points at once. 15 to talent, 10 to comprehension. +10 +5, a flash of blinding white light. You have entered your next life. The Lord of Baifeng City is Jiang Li, and you are his son. But your memories only awakened at age 17, thinking of the Su family's extermination in your previous life. That was just 20 years ago. The ancestor of the Su family is still alive. You feel the revenge you couldn't fulfill before can still be accomplished in this life. Young Master Jiang, the master wants to discuss something with you. A maid hurried over with small steps. You nodded, followed the maid to meet your father in this life. Inside a spacious room, Jiang Li had already ordered the servants to set the table. A middle-aged man and a woman sat on chairs, waiting for you to appear. They smiled when they saw you. You respectfully greeted your parents. Wang Hanyu pulled you over and said, "Come, sit down." "There's no need for so many rules at home," Jiang Li said. "Eat first. We'll talk after the meal." You obediently finished your meal. You're now at the peak of Spirit Awakening, 9th level, just one step away from Spirit Gathering. This Spirit Gathering pill may give you the boost you need. After dinner, Jiang Li took out a delicate box. Inside was a pill. It was the Spirit Gathering pill. A single Spirit Gathering pill helps someone break from the Spirit Awakening peak to Spirit Gathering realm. Only top factions know how to make it. Not only is it expensive, the most crucial thing is even money won't guarantee you can buy it. Even though Jiang Li is the lord of a city and a spirit engraving realm expert, getting a spirit gathering pill isn't easy. You feel moved. 3 days later, you have reached the giant spirit realm. You're still just 17. In your previous life, after leaving your family, it took until 25 years old to reach this. Now you're 8 years earlier. The future looks promising. After your breakthrough, you confidently return to Lingyan Martial Academy. Lingyan Martial Academy is one of the top 10 academies in Tianfeng Kingdom. After returning to the academy, your cultivation reached the giant spirit realm, which caused quite a stir. After all, reaching spirit gathering at 17 means you're a genius. Even among other geniuses in Lingyan Martial Academy, only a handful have such talent. You also entered the inner court ahead of time. Chose a senior as your teacher. The elder you chose is named Zhang Shangyang. He is a spirit engraving 7th realm expert. Compared to your father Zhang Li in this life,
he is 4 realms higher.
so you gained another strong backing. That day, encouraged by your friends, you held a celebration banquet for joining the inner sect. In their eyes, your life is like playing with cheat codes, having a city lord for a father. At 17, entering the inner court as a giant spirit, apprentice to Elder Jiang Shangyang. Isn't this the ultimate winner's life? What else could it be? However, you just shook your head. They could never understand how hard your journey has been. Even if it was in your past life. After leaving the restaurant, you suddenly shivered. You spotted a familiar face, bearing an air of someone you once knew. That person was a foe. Still Su family's Li Mi. Do me a favor. You looked seriously at the drunken man next to you. When he saw your serious expression, he instantly sobered up. Help me investigate someone. You pointed at the young man who looked like an old acquaintance. Li Mi is your closest troublemaking friend.
His family.
Li family has some influence in Lingyan City. In less than a day, the young man suspected of being a former acquaintance. His information was laid out in front of you. Just as expected, you wore a cold sneer. Looking fierce, that day your lone wolf instincts were right. This time, the young man with the familiar air was truly the son of your old enemy. Specifically, the first was the son of Su Chengji you saw before dying. His name is Su Sheng. He's 3 years older than you, currently at Spirit Awakening. 9th realm, probably about to break through. But he'll never have the chance to break through again. Suba, I can't kill you, old bastard. But I can eliminate your family step by step. You hate it. Dying once is fair if you lose bets. The problem is you're alive now. You saw your children and old friends' heads, held by Su Chengzi, and still often dream about it. If Su family isn't destroyed, your hatred cannot be appeased. And Su family still has the inheritance of a Linhai realm expert. That's a huge opportunity. Linhai realm is considered top tier in Tiandom. Already an absolute powerhouse. Li Qingyu, who broke off the engagement before, is now just at Linhai realm. That talent is already dazzling in Tianfeng Kingdom. No wonder she wanted to end the engagement. You certainly had the right to break off the engagement strongly, but you still hold grudges, never able to let it go. You're simply not on the same path now. Li Qingyu is already old, while you're just 17. You pondered how to secretly kill a Lingyan Academy disciple without being discovered. Fighting among Academy disciples has always been a serious crime. The lightest penalty is detention. The worst is expulsion from the Academy. Of course, you wouldn't kill openly, but if Su Sheng met vicious criminals during a mission, criminals who happen to have a grudge with the Su family, so Su Sheng gets killed. That sounds like a plausible story. 3 months later, Su Sheng was killed by 3 men in black. Just as you expected, the Academy handled it quickly. Decided Su Sheng had provoked an enemy. In this martial arts world, students dying is routine. Dead students are just gone. Only the family patriarch, Su Chengji, feels hatred, but he couldn't find any clues, so the matter was left unresolved. But you know, this is only the beginning. For a blood feud, a single life isn't nearly enough. The enemy is out in the open while you hide. No need to rush revenge. Continue cultivating at Lingyan Academy. A year later, just after you turned 18, Jiang Ling summoned you home. Back home, you saw that beside your father sat an old man. Old Wang looked at you, feeling satisfied with your talent and cultivation. He nodded approvingly. Jiangzi, I have a granddaughter who's beautiful as a fairy. She's been training at the Spirit Sword Sect for a long time. She just returned to Baifeng City today. The old man hopes you can show my granddaughter around. Let her have a good time in Baifeng City. You glanced at your father. Jiang Li nodded at you. So you understood. This girl must be gorgeous, with strong talents, which made your father very satisfied. He called you back home for this. After meeting Wang Bailu, old Wang's granddaughter, you both observed each other and were both satisfied. This time there was no engagement breakup. You took Wang Bailu for a stroll in Baifeng City, stuck together for 3 days in a row. After 3 days, the two separated. They made a promise in the kingdom of Tianfeng to meet again at the decade-long tournament for the younger generation. Let's meet again. You return to Lingyan Academy. Your mischievous friend Li Ming looks at you curiously. He feels like you've changed since coming back. Of course, you don't tell him anything. We've really changed, kid. I'm a married man now. And you're still single. In the following days, you train even harder at Lingyan Academy. It's been about 2.5 years since your memories were awakened. You've also broken through from Qilin 9th level to Juling 6th level. This year, you're 19. Such progress is incredibly fast. It even shocked the academy. The academy's elder council discussed and treated you as a Linhai talent. Training you as a top-tier competitor, the academy has high hopes for you, hoping you can earn a great ranking at the decade-long tournament in Tianfeng Kingdom, then achieve a good result. You follow the academy elders, along with all the other prodigies trained by the academy, and head towards the capital of Tianfeng Kingdom. Your friend Li Ming also tags along with you, nervously asking if you're confident about the written test this time. I'm suddenly feeling a lot of pressure. Just within Lingyan Martial Arts Academy alone, there are so many prodigies. Li Ming can't help but feel lost. In the past 2 years, Li Ming also managed to break through to the spirit gathering stage. But he's just at the first level. Meanwhile, you, his best friend, have already reached spirit gathering 6th level. He used to think you were already a genius. But in front of the Martial Academy, all the young disciples competing in the tournament, none of them are worse than you. Even the lowest is at spirit gathering 5th level. There are as many prodigies in this world as stars in the sky. You look up at the sky. In an era, there is only one moon. All the other stars are destined to be overshadowed by the moon's light. Seeing your once familiar friend seems a bit strange now. Li Ming felt moved. Are you aiming to be the moon? You shook your head and said, I am just the smallest star. But to understand the way is enough. If I could meet the moon, see the real prodigy of martial arts, I'd be content even if my light is overshadowed. Li Ming was stunned. Is this really the same old friend he used to hang out with every day? You suddenly changed so much. Li Ming found it really hard to get used to. You seriously said, I'm just telling you. Don't be afraid of failure. There are plenty of people better than us in this world. Li Ming nodded and let go of his worries. If even his best buddy isn't afraid of failure, then why should he be scared? Little did he know you didn't say one last thing. One day, I too will become the brightest moon. And the only one. If not in this life, then in the next or the one after. Someday I will live the kind of life everyone admires. After a long journey, everyone finally arrived at the capital of Tianfeng Kingdom. The elders of the Wu family had already prepared accommodations for everyone. You quickly went to see your fiancée, and then brought her to meet everyone from the Wu family. Li Ming's face turned pitch black. We agreed to be single together? But you even have a fiancé. You gave an awkward laugh, believing Li Ming would understand. Lingyan Wu family really liked Wang Bailu, but the Lingjian sect did not welcome you. Wang Bailu is also known for her beauty in Lingjian sect, although not as famous as the top senior sister of Lingjian sect, one of the top 10 beauties in Tianfeng Kingdom. Her reputation is widespread, yet she has a unique vibe, with many supporters in the Lingjian sect. Your visit was like poking a hornet's nest, surrounded by a bunch of people. So you're junior sister Wang's fiancé. I challenge you. As long as you lose, you have to stay away from junior sister Wang. An elder brother from Lingjian sect issued a challenge to you angrily. You don't remember him. Where the hell did this dramatic guy come from? Moron, are you even a man? Aren't you brave enough to have a real man's duel? If I lose, I'll disappear from junior sister Wang's sight forever. If you lose, then you'll have to break off the engagement with her. The Lingjian sect senior relentlessly pressed on, pushing you aggressively, as if this would make you look bad, making himself a hero in Wang Bailu's eyes. I just think Miss Wang is so innocent, being treated as a bet by people like you. If you want to fight, I'll accept, but I won't use my fiancé as a stake. She's not an object. She's my future wife. With this statement, the Lingjian sect gave you their respect. Wang Bailu's beautiful eyes sparkled too. The Lingjian sect senior who lost face was indignant. He attacked you, but you subdued him with one move, shocking everyone. From beginning to end, you didn't even know his name, nor did you care to know. The two of you were never on the same level. A Lingjian sect elder personally apologized to you and promised that no one from Lingjian sect would trouble you again. Everyone in Lingjian sect also completely changed their attitude toward you. Now they believe. You will definitely be the dark horse in the tournament and get outstanding results at the martial arts competition. By then, who knows how many nobles will offer up their daughters. Wang Bailu also noticed this. Her fiancé was simply too talented. If you become famous, will you give her a divorce letter? So on the eve of the competition, Wang Bailu stayed by your side at all times, right up until the competition started. Only then did Wang Bailu give you some space. You felt like this dark horse was about to collapse and had turned into a skinny horse. But luckily, even though you're exhausted, you used to fight for your life, living on the edge of life and death. That battle experience is not something these greenhorns can compare to. All along the way, you became the dark horse of the tournament, catching the attention of many forces. Zhang Yuan, your Lingyan Martial Arts Academy really found a good seedling. All the elders from various powers gathered together, openly admiring Lingyan Martial Arts Academy. 19 years old and already stage 6 spirit gathering. And not only that, you even beat a top 10 seed, Nangong Meng from Tonglen sect. 21 years old, spirit gathering 9th level. At the pinnacle of cultivation, the beloved disciple of Tianlan sect elder Li Qingyu. But it was you, just at giant strength 6th level, who fought without fear and hesitation, with fierce martial spirit, that forced Nangong Meng to admit defeat. After that fight, your name spread throughout the land. You were dubbed the martial maniac by outsiders. At this moment, as the dark horse of Tianfeng Kingdom, you are lying on your bed. You feel like your whole body is about to fall apart. Every inch of your skin feels like it's being slashed with a knife. Lingyan 5 axis. One familiar face after another is watching you nervously. Wang Bailu is holding your hand tightly. Little beads of tears keep dripping from her eyes. The bed is soaking wet. Women really are made of water. You force yourself to comfort everyone against your true feelings. I'm fine now. I'm already awake. Everyone looks at your pale face. They don't believe you one bit. They can only change the subject. In that fight between me and Nangong Meng from the Tianlin sect, who won in the end? Speaking of which, everyone finally starts talking non-stop. Of course it was junior brother Zhang. You won. A beautiful senior sister is looking at you, her eyes sparkling. Your hand feels soft and smooth. Cool, but also warm. Turns out Wang Bailu is pressing her face against your hand. A clear sign she's claiming her territory. It makes you want to laugh and cry at the same time. Even the pain from your injuries seems to lessen quite a bit. Right now, everyone in the capital is talking about junior brother Zhang, your legend. That Nangong Meng was actually a favorite for the top 3, but was defeated by junior brother Zhang. Missing the top 11? A senior brother chimes in, his tone full of admiration for you. Junior brother Jiang's martial spirit is admirable. This is what martial arts is all about. Pushing forward fearlessly, unafraid of life or death, making people's blood boil. Another senior brother says he's already been conquered by you, but inside you're screaming in pain. Martial spirit, my ass. The only reason you fought so hard was totally because Nangong Meng is the prized disciple of Li Qingyu. You still vividly remember how Li Qingzhao broke off the engagement in your past life. That moment is still etched in your mind. You can't beat Li Qingzhao herself, but can't you even beat her disciple? You're seriously something else. Nangong Meng is a top goddess among the younger generation, one of the 10 great beauties, the dream fairy. And you actually made her cry and admit defeat. Li Ming looks at you with full admiration, shouting awesome. Watching his good friend win fame and glory, he's absolutely thrilled. If one makes it big, don't forget your friends. Bros always share honor and disgrace. But you are lost in deep memories, filled with 1,000 questions. Did that really happen? A prodigy got beaten and cried. That sounds insane. It's just way too unbelievable. You, the person involved, don't even remember Nangong Meng ever crying. You slowly speak up. When did that happen? Nangong Meng is a martial prodigy too. No way she got beaten to tears. Li Ming says with absolute confidence. Right now, they're talking about it in every street and alley. Many outstanding young talents from different factions are getting ready to team up and cause you trouble. You feel all sorts of wild thoughts churning inside. The reward for buying into King Ti Tianfeng's capital was actually pretty generous. You got a special 3-day training session. a blue spirit mark, and a mystic tier lower grade weapon. 3 days later, your cultivation made another breakthrough, surpassing Great Spirit level 7, reaching Great Spirit level 8. After leaving the spiritual pool, you saw another familiar figure, a beauty countless people dream about night and day. If only she didn't have that murderous glare. You secretly think, this isn't good, and sure enough, it's not anyone else but Nangong Meng, whom you defeated. I challenge you. Nangong Meng is clearly not convinced. Rumor has it all over the city. She got beaten to tears by a madman from Lingyan 5 halls and admitted defeat and left the field. She admits she gave up. After all, she won't fuss with a madman. But she, Nangong Meng, did not cry. Nangong Meng wants to prove it. She wants to beat you and redeem her reputation. You try to detour away. Now that your cultivation has reached Great Spirit level 8, defeating Nangong Meng isn't hard at all. But you just don't want to fight. Nangong Meng is furious. She decides to attack directly. She picks up her sword and comes straight at you. She may look cold and distant, but she's actually a hot-tempered tigress. You mutter softly, and the words land fully in Nangong Meng's ears. Without hesitation, you draw your sword, the tip shining with a cold gleam, and point it right at Nangong Meng's forehead. You put your sword away and wave your hand. Little girl, come challenge me again when you reach the Spirit Mark realm. Nangong Meng stands there in shock for a long time, tears welling up in her eyes. Drip, drip. That day, the capital was shaken once again. Rumor spread that the dream fairy had been wooed and abandoned by Jiang Chun, leaving her heartbroken, crying for a whole day. The younger generation of the Tianfeng kingdom was all riled up, swearing they would make whoever bullied the dream fairy pay the price. Time flows on like water to the east. And just like that, 3 years have passed. This year, you're 22. Although plenty of Nangong Meng's admirers came to give you trouble, they're all small fry. No matter what, you're still a seed-level contestant of the Lingyan 5 halls. But after 3 years, your cultivation is still stuck at gathering key level 9. Even with the spirit mark awarded at the martial arts tournament by the royal palace, it'll still be another year or two before you break into the spirit mark realm, the top 10 prodigies of your generation. Everyone except you has entered the spirit mark realm. In the end, your talent just can't compare to those guys. Even Nangong Meng, whom you once beat easily, has supposedly entered the spirit mark realm months ago, and even got a blue spirit mark. In the Tianfeng kingdom, very few people have a blue spirit mark. You suddenly think of Nangong Meng, not because you miss her, but because you remember what you said to her 3 years ago. You were just bragging offhand back then, but it really fit the occasion. Nangong Meng, surely she didn't take what I said seriously. You think it over. And it didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's because tomorrow, after a long relationship with Wang Bailu, it's finally coming to an end. Tomorrow is your wedding day. You don't want any accidents to happen. You turn your head, planning to return to your mansion. A flash of striking purple catches your eye. You don't say a word and keep your head down, staring at your toes, just trying to walk faster. Suddenly you feel a chill on your neck. An icy blue sword is pressed against your neck. You stiffly lift your head and see a flawless face looking at you coldly. She holds the sword right to your throat. You force a laugh, Miss Nangong. Long time no see. Nangong Meng says nothing, just looks at you coldly. Her stare makes your hair stand on end. You take out a red wedding invitation and hand it over. Miss Nangong, tomorrow is my big wedding day, and I'd like to invite you to attend. Hope you'll do me the honor. Nangong Meng takes the invitation, but a glimmer of energy turns it to ashes in her hand. Do you remember what you once said? Nangong Meng speaks in a cold tone. Of course you know, but you definitely can't hold it in this time. You protest your innocence to Miss Nangong. What did Jiang say to you back then? That's made you remember it so clearly. I want to challenge you. If you don't accept the challenge, I'll castrate you. Nangong Meng's words are icy cold. You don't question whether she's bluffing. You feel like Nangong Meng could actually go through with it. Since this concerns your brother's life, you have to take it seriously. Everyone knows. You're someone who values relationships deeply, especially brotherhood. So you make your move, and you get beaten up. Your face is black and blue. Don't be fooled by those soft little hands. When it comes to throwing punches, she doesn't hold back at all. You awkwardly get back up. Nangong Meng is already nowhere to be seen. All that's left is a jade bottle on the ground. There's a sword mark under the jade bottle. 2 crooked words are carved there. All even. You go over and open the jade bottle. Inside, you find a grade 3 healing pill. Enduring a beating in exchange for a grade 3 pill almost seems worth it. You mutter to yourself, feeling a little better. You didn't expect Nangong Meng to be so generous yet petty. A meticulous maniac. When you get home, you run into your father, Zhang Li. He looks curious and asks how you got so many injuries. You look up and sullenly reply, I tripped by accident. Zhang Li doesn't buy it. He asks why there are fist marks if you just fell. With no other option, you explain. I ran into a senior on the road who needed a sparring partner to test out a new technique. He gave me a grade 3 healing pill. Zhang Li is suspicious all over his face. After you take out the pill, even though he's still full of doubts, he decides to believe you for now. Getting into a fight with just some surface wounds can actually earn you a grade 3 pill? How come I've never met such a senior? Zhang Li ponders for a moment and thinks the beating you got was worth it. If only you could have that happen a few more times. A day later, all your injuries are healed. On your wedding day, the place is packed with distinguished guests. Many people come all the way to Baifeng City. Your upperclassmen and upperclasswomen from Lingyan Martial Arts Academy are here, as well as your own teacher, Zhang Shenying. Even the deputy dean of the Martial Academy has come. There's also the younger generation from Sky Sword Mountain, as well as Wang Beilu's teachers, and friends like Li Ming, your old troublemaking buddies. Some former prodigies who once ranked in the top 10 at the Dao conference are here too. Zhang Li is stunned by the scene. Many guests are from influential families, people whom even he has to look up to. Yet all these people are being respectful to his own son. The elder of the Wang family is all smiles, believing this is the smartest decision of his life, because your potential is far from reaching its peak, and the Wang family will prosper along with you. The moonlight is hazy, making it the perfect time for your wedding night. You arrive at Wang Beilu's door and look up. On a tall building, standing shoulder to shoulder with the moon in the distance, there seems to be a purple figure. You blink. The purple figure vanishes. Must have been your imagination. You think you might have had too much to drink and are seeing things. Your wife's gentle voice calls to you from inside the room. You hesitate no longer. You open the door and step inside. A year passes again. You successfully break into the Lingwen realm. In your previous life, you never managed to reach the Lingwen realm. But in this life, you've reached the Su family at only 23. Your expression is cold, still holding a grudge for the Su family's massacre. If you let even one Su family member get away, you won't feel satisfied. But you need to wait a little longer. If Lin Wenjing made a move too soon, and the old guys from the Su family got in the way, lots of the Su family members might escape. What you want is to wipe out the entire Su family, not even sparing their chickens or dogs. After breaking through Lin Wenjing, you return to Lingyan Martial Arts Academy, causing quite a stir. You also receive abundant cultivation resources. That was your goal. So you continue with another closed-door training. 2 years later, the Su family patriarch celebrates his 140th birthday. The Su family and Meidu return home to celebrate. For a while, the entire Su household is brilliantly decorated. But no one notices that, in the shadows, you're glaring maliciously toward the Su family. You plan to use this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to wipe them all out at once. Your silhouette is soon followed by faint sounds of movement behind you. A group of prepared dancers follow you as you enter the Su family estate. Leading them is an elderly man with graying hair. You're now in the grand courtyard of the Su family. You display Lin Wenjing's strength, slashing your way inside. This finally makes them realize what's happening, and they quickly gather a large number of martial artists. Who are you? And why are you attacking our Su family? The one speaking is a middle-aged man from the Su family. His name is Su Changyuan.
He's Suba's youngest son.
You step forward unhurriedly, then vanish from sight. By the time the Su family's martial artists react, you're already standing in front of Su Changyuan, and with one swift sword strike, you cut off his head. The direct descendants of the Su family nearby are overwhelmed with grief, urging the martial artists hired by the Su family to fight to the death with you. You casually take out a few who aren't afraid to die, terrifying the rest into retreating again and again. You don't continue attacking. Fighting these people is just a waste of your energy. You'll just leave them for the Su family to handle. That's right, you found the Su family from your past life. Found their family head. Your brother from your previous life, Suzu. After he died in your past life, Suzu secretly sought out the descendants of you and your old friends and hid them away. That's why the Su family has never been able to find them all these years. You are his biological older brother, the only family he's had since your parents and his mother died. But you were killed by the Su family, so how could he not hate them? And through your investigation, you discover that the moment your descendants were adopted by Suzu, your feelings have been a mix of emotions. But you feel truly grateful. Compared to you, Suzu is more suited to be the head of the family, so you concealed your identity and sought out Suzu to cooperate. Your aim was to give the Su family a chance. All the remaining possessions of the Su family could be handed to Suzu. Consider it as compensation for your previous life's family. So as you approached the Su family's inner courtyard, Suzu led a large group from the Su family and stormed in. Without another word, she started the massacre mode directly. New grudges and old hatred, only through the life and death destruction of the clan. Can the debt be paid? You fought your way into the Su family's inner courtyard, killing several direct descendants of the Su family along the way. As long as someone looked about 30% alike, you killed them and then picked up their heads. If you couldn't, you hung the head at your waist, just like an asura from hell. Soon you saw a familiar face, the current head of the Su family, Su Changji. Unlike the young man in your last memory, Su Changji was now middle-aged. Serving as the current family head, Su Changji staggered forward. Seeing all those familiar heads, his head spinning with a loud buzz, feeling as if the whole world was spinning. Watching this scene, you said calmly, "Looks like I didn't kill the wrong people." Su Changji roared hoarsely, "I'm going to kill you." Su Changji charged at you, but you grabbed his neck with one hand and crippled his cultivation with a single palm strike. You didn't kill him right away. Instead, you brought him to the Su family's old man. "Lord Suba, what grudges do you have with my family?" Suba let out a pained scream. "Where is the Linhai legacy? Tell me, and maybe I'll let this guy in my hand live. Leave your Su family some hope." Your tone was cold. Suba wanted to fight you to the death, but you sensed his thoughts, and the spirit patterns at your feet flared up. Your triple cultivation erupted completely. Suba lost all hope. He was already old, his vitality on the decline. And even if he put everything on the line, he might not be able to seriously injure you. Suba's old tears streamed down his face. He had already made up his mind. "Will you swear an oath that if I hand over the Lunhai legacy, you'll keep your word?" You nodded, saying, "I'm only here for the Linhai legacy. Once I get the legacy, leaving some survivors for your Su family is no problem. If I break my martial oath, I shall go no further." Suba got the result he wanted, and returned to the house to fetch a piece of beast hide. There were strange runes inscribed on the hide, along with translations the Su family had worked out over the years. Watching how hard Suba worked, you recalled those days of wits and courage, and almost felt like sparing him. Of course, that was impossible. With one hand you accepted the Linhai legacy. Then just as Suba was reaching for Su Chengzi, you sliced off Su Chengzi's head with a sword. Suba was speechless, his heart feeling as if cut by a knife. A familiar but icy voice sounded in his ear. "Do you remember the Su family? When you destroyed the Su family back then, did you ever think of the old and young? Now it's just someone coming to collect the debt." Suba glared and cried, "You'll die a horrible death. You broke your martial oath. You will be devoured by 10,000 ghosts in the end. Everyone in my Su family will watch you on the Yellow Springs Road." Subai screamed and was killed by you. You lined up all the heads neatly together. Your great vengeance was finally avenged. You remained silent for a long time. Finally, you said softly, "I will not go to the Yellow Springs. Even if you wait forever for me on that road, you still won't see me." You left, willing to cut off your past life. You determined to live this life well and go see higher martial realms. Baifeng City. You looked at your talkative daughter pestering you and smiled. Your daughter's name is Jiang Mingyu. You still plan to have a son with Wang Bailu and name him Jiang Hao. Ever since the destruction of the Su family, the resources that Lingyan Five Houses invested had been used up. Without resources, your cultivation progress slowed more and more. After 4 years, your cultivation barely broke through to the 4th layer of spirit pattern. It's worth mentioning, you've also deciphered a quarter of the legacy the Su family obtained. Turns out it's not a Linhai realm expert's legacy at all, but the inheritance of a Tongshuan king. If only Su family had a few more years, you would never have been able to get your revenge in this life. With the legacy of a spirit king, even just a third of it, the Su family was bound to thrive. What a careful Su family. What a Su Ba. What a Su Chengji. You finally understood why after Su Chengji's proud son Su Sheng died, the Su family neither investigated nor announced it widely, but directly suppressed the news. This was a world-shaking secret. If not for you being a reincarnator, the Su family could truly have risen. Now the secret belongs to you. You only dare to use the excuse of closed-door cultivation, secretly cracking the Spirit King's legacy left behind. Not daring to say a word if you finish, you just dig a pit and bury it. If anyone else found out, you had a Tanshuan realm legacy in your hands. This generation of Jiang family would probably end up just like the Su family. At the dinner table, Wang Bailu looked at you and asked softly, "Husband, is there something new lately? You've been together for 12 years? It's impossible for Wang Bailu not to notice that something's been off about you the past few days. Your demeanor has been strange lately." You let out a soft sigh. There's a war in the south again. The Kangling Kingdom is attacking the Tianfeng Kingdom and has already taken several cities. Father Jiang and Mother Jiang were surprised. The boy finally understands things today and even cares about the affairs of the nation. Wang Bailu smiled softly. "Husband, are you tempted by the resource reward the Wang family offered?" You nodded. This time, there are titles for those with outstanding military achievements. You thought about joining the army. Heroes are forged in chaotic times. You wanted to earn cultivation resources and to leave this generation of Jiang family better cultivation conditions. Wang Bailu said resolutely, "Whatever you want to do, husband, just do it." You were surprised, thinking she'd try to stop you. Sensing your surprise, Wang Bailu smiled. "Husband, did you think I'd stop you? Don't forget, I'm also from the Lingjian sect. I'm not a burden to my husband. I'm a capable partner. My husband shouldn't be buried away in a small place like Baifeng City either." You had mixed feelings, touched, and in the end decided to join the army for cultivation resources, to give this generation of the Jiang family a better starting point for cultivation. After making this decision, you ran into quite a few familiar faces, especially Li Mi, whom you hadn't seen in ages. Ever since your grand wedding, it's been 7 years since any of you had seen me. I really missed the days back at Wu Mansion. Those were my happiest times, when we drank together, eating without a care in the world. When tired, he'd visit the kill for a stroll. Li Ming wanted to keep reminiscing. A slap landed on the back of his head. It hurt so much that Li Ming cried out in surprise. Just as he was about to ask why you did that, he noticed Wang Bailu listening intently. Li Ming shuddered all over. He thought to himself, that was close. You let out a sigh of relief too. Almost lost your life there. This fool really can't keep anything to himself. When tired, he'd go out shopping. Li Ming let out a couple of awkward laughs and finished what he was saying. This time, you have to make a name for yourself. Li Ming took out a bottle of pills, handed it to you with his blessings. Inside the bottle were 5 grade 3 pills. You felt truly touched. This guy pocketed money from the Li family. Probably spent all of it on these 5 pills. You left. No one noticed a woman in purple in the distance, quietly watching the scene. Your luck is pretty good. General Lin Qingfeng of the Black Armor Army had heard of you, so you kept rising quickly through the ranks. In just 30 years, you received countless honors, and were even granted the title of Earl. Late at night, you often wondered, am I truly an executioner? Only after stepping onto the battlefield did you realize those mercenary squabbles in your past life, and the ruthlessness you prided yourself on, were a total joke on a real battlefield. So your heart turned even colder. You soared in your career as if on cheat mode. But it wasn't because you were so amazing. It was because your commander was phenomenal. Some time ago, Commander Lin Qingfeng of the Black Armor Army was assassinated, barely hanging on to life. They said there was still hope. But you knew that old man's character. He was probably gone already. If he were still breathing, how could the eunuch faction cause so much trouble? And to assassinate a master at the 9th realm of Liminghai, inside the military camp, there had to be something fishy going on. Who'd ever believe it otherwise? 15 years ago, under Lin Qingfeng's leadership, they defeated the Kangling Kingdom's troops and became famous throughout the Tianfeng Kingdom. Commander Lin Qingfeng wanted to take the chance to wipe out the Kangling Kingdom's army, but was stopped by the court, allowing the tiger to return to the mountain, on the grounds that repelling the invasion was enough. The two countries were still good allies. Commander Lin Qingfeng was so angry he retired at once. Now, 15 years later, the Kangling Kingdom has fully recovered and has torn up the treaty to invade again. Lin Qingfeng has returned from retirement, but was assassinated right after scoring a victory. You quietly poured a jug of wine as a farewell for Commander Lin, thanking him for recognizing your talent. The next day, new orders arrived. You were reassigned to another border. Several old comrades came looking for you and proposed General Zhang. Let's rebel, shall we? You refused their request and left without looking back. That's not rebellion. That's being brain dead. In this world where martial power rules, a few Lin Wenjings plotting rebellion together, the kingdom would just send someone like Lin Haijing to wipe you all out. Later, you heard that group of eunuchs kept losing ground, nearly let the Kangling Kingdom's army break through. In the end, the royal family sent out 2 Soul Realm experts, which made the Kangling army retreat. Breaking through is the Liminghai realm, a level above Liminghai. Even Tianfeng Kingdom doesn't have many such experts. You gave it only a passing glance. The soldiers stopped paying you any notice. You'd already been dismissed, and basically just drifted along. People like you can't decide the big picture anyway. But the stack of letters on your desk brought a smile to your face. Over the years, Wang Bailu gave you 2 more sons. The eldest is named Jiang Hao. The younger is Jiang Pingyan. And your daughter is Jiang Mingyu. Your oldest son, Jiang Hao, is already married. Your second son, Jiang Pingyan, has gone off to roam the world, becoming a wandering swordsman. You're open-minded, always supporting your children's choices. On the side, there are also letters from Lingyan Martial Academy, including ones from your mentor, Zhang Xiangyang, and from friends who chose to stay at the academy. When they heard you were demoted, they quickly wrote to check on you. Besides that, there are also letters from Li Ming. Li Ming, now nearly 60, finally got married. He wants you to spare some time to come back and attend his grand wedding. Hard to believe, it's been 30 years since you last met. Bullshit, this kid's definitely trying to fool me. A wretched old man at 60. Still tricking young women. You scolded, thinking Li Ming really has no shame. You, old uncle, are special. You aggressively wrote a passage accusing someone of being a beast. If I feel too ashamed to associate with you. After finishing writing, you thought it over and realized it wasn't right. So you revised it, then tore it all up to rewrite from scratch. In the end, you only left one line. Live a good life. This is your heartfelt wish. You took out the sword technique that's accompanied you for years. This sword holds the Shaman King technique you translated back then. Ever since you joined the army, so many years have passed, the translation progress hasn't moved much. Barely half of it has been deciphered, but half is enough. In theory, you can reach the Linhai realm with this cultivation. You let out a soft sigh, packed up the congratulatory gift, had your trusted aide deliver it. This city is a cage. You're already unable to leave here. Just a few days ago, Commander Lin's confidants plotted a rebellion, but without exception, all of them were executed. Who knows how many eyes are watching you now? You don't know if you're plotting a rebellion or not. Either way, if you leave, your fate is probably no better than death. Damn eunuch faction. You curse again in your heart. Things were finally going well. Suddenly you're like a prisoner. You're really unhappy about it. Another 10 years have passed. You're nearly 70 now. You're a peak-level spiritual pattern master. 70 isn't a big deal. You've suffered all kinds of injuries. You won't live to 300. But living to 200 isn't a problem at all. Just yesterday, the Azure Kingdom rallied again and invaded the Tianfeng Kingdom. You have no idea what those people at the top are thinking. This crap is like a stubborn skin disease. Barely any rest before another war starts. Every day, box after box after box. Are those peace doves or what? What engages you most? Are the battle reports in front of you? Tianfeng Kingdom's army keeps losing ground. A huge amount of territory has fallen to the Azure Kingdom. You feel nothing for Tianfeng Kingdom. But you don't want your friends and family to end up enslaved. General, there's something I don't know if I should say. Or maybe I shouldn't say. Your confidant hesitated, unsure if he should say it or not. Then don't say it. You promptly cut him off. General, I don't want to keep living like this. Let's surrender to the Azure Kingdom. With your talent, you'd surely be valued there. Lord Jiang, Lord Jiyu, and Lord Hen, they've all died. I'm afraid you'll follow their fate. You looked at Qing Xing, who finally plucked up the courage and sat irritably. Aren't you afraid someone's listening in next door? Others might hear us. Su Yi scratched his head and grinned. I know you're cautious, General. You won't let anyone get near so easily. General, a man should establish achievements in his life, make a name for himself, live boldly and heroically. Otherwise, what's the point of coming into this world? Su Yi's eyes lit up. He understood that his general had no real concept of nation. You calmed yourself down, thinking this kid really deserves to be my confidant. He even figured out my desire to rebel, right down to the last detail. All right, go rest for now. You spoke calmly, which only made Su Yi overjoyed. The general didn't get angry, so he must agree. At the moment, Su Yi turned around. He heard a metallic sound from behind. Then he lost consciousness. You expressionlessly looked at Qing Xing's corpse head separated, and silently thought how old you've gotten. Worrying about taking down a level 6 spiritual pattern practitioner in an instant. Could you take him down instantly? You didn't want to make a scene, so you chose to strike by surprise. Su Yi was right. You've wanted to rebel for a long time. But you can't. You have a wife and kids here in Tianfeng Kingdom, and parents, and friends and teachers. If you rebel, all those close to you will die. So many people. Even if you join Azure Kingdom, you can't get them all out. This life will just pass like this. I'll settle accounts properly in the next one. You buried Su Yi. He knew you too well. You sighed. I told you. If it's not meant to be said, don't say it. 3 more months passed. Then some bad news arrived. The Yuan army was completely wiped out. This was a course on par with the Zhuangjia army. Now the Azure Kingdom's army storms inward, approaching the border you're defending. Damn, they're causing havoc here. 1 million troops gone in 3 months. Are you having a stroke? Seriously crazy moves. The most critical thing is what the higher-ups want. Supposedly they're sending reinforcements. They want you to hold out for a month. Hold what, my ass? All that's left is the old, feeble Lin Haijing. Besides him, the strongest is just you spiritual pattern 9th heaven. That night, you secluded yourself to try breaking through to Lin Haijing. The Tongling Palace has secret arts. You can break through short term, but won't live long. Originally, you'd need 20 more years to break through. Lin Haijing would be solid then. Really no need to be so extreme. But now it doesn't matter. You're dead either way. Might as well break through to Lin Hai realm and cut down a few more enemies. You didn't spend long in seclusion. Before a Kangvolf Kingdom army came to attack the pass you guard, held out for 10 days. The old Linhai city lord was finally beaten to death. Everyone felt despair in their hearts. Even though the old bastard embezzled funds, he often withheld their cultivation resources. He was a greedy old skinflint. Everyone wished he was dead. Just not now. The defending general felt chills in his heart. The city's defense lost its backbone. It wouldn't hold for long at all. But just as the city was about to fall, the dim barrier suddenly activated again, slaughtering thousands of Kangvolf Kingdom soldiers. A heroic figure strode in midair, lifting the fading core of the formation with one hand. You finally broke through to the Linhai realm at the crucial moment. And you've never felt so wonderful. It's like opening the door to a whole new world. You could split mountains and rivers with a wave of your hand. The first wave of Azure Kingdom's attack was finally repelled. Everyone smiled with relief after disaster. Chattered to you about the thrilling battle. when they told how old Skinflint fought to the death against a Linhai general and severely wounded another Linhai general. You couldn't help but salute him. That old Skinflint died a true hero. Too bad not even a piece of his body was left behind. All you could do was collect his old belongings and make a simple grave for him. You didn't have a good impression of old Skinflint. You two were actually opposed. Yet when old Skinflint learned, you were determined to break through the Linhai realm. He gave you all his cultivation resources and told the soldiers, after his death, you'd be the sole leader of this city. He may have been full of flaws, but in the end he redeemed himself perfectly. Next time, the legions sent by the Kangling Kingdom will surely be stronger. The reinforcements are still 20 days away. You think of your wife and children, and your parents, and the grandchildren you've never met, both paternal and maternal. I must hold out for 20 days. This is your conviction.
10 days later, the Kangling Kingdom sends another massive army
To attack the city you are defending. This time, they are a dark, overwhelming mass. At least 50,000 to 60,000 strong. Leading them are 3 Linhai Realm generals. The 3 Linhai Realm experts pin you down, while the rest of the Kangling army engages with the city's defenders. And the residents. That day, the sky grew dark and the earth turned dim. Countless corpses lay scattered, and the entire city was stained blood red. The relentless rain washed out a foul-smelling river of blood. Finally, it ended with you pushing your limits to kill 1 Linhai Realm general and heavily wounding the other 2. You finally managed to hold the line. A forced smile tugged at the corner of your mouth, and then you collapsed unconscious. You were in a coma for 5 days. 5 days later, you woke up. Only 5 days left until the reinforcements arrive. Late at night, the survivors gathered together, imagining life after the war ends. In your heart, you also imagine the scene of returning home alive. But as everyone knows, for a traveler far from home wanting to return, it is a very difficult thing. 5 more days passed. Forget reinforcements. You haven't even seen a single message of support. You don't even have to think to know that the eunuch faction at court must be causing trouble. The Kangling army has already surrounded the city. Before long, they will launch the final general assault. You let out a bitter laugh, knowing that your life in this world probably ends here. You look at the many soldiers whose wounds have not yet healed, and roar, "Gentlemen, are you willing to fight to the death with me?" The remaining soldiers looked mournfully at their general. "General, I want to go home. I haven't been back in 10 years. A man who fought on the battlefield and didn't even make a sound when his arm was hacked off, now lowered his head and let out a beast-like sob. Your eyes grew dim, calculating the time. You haven't been back in 20 years, although family members visited every year. Brother Jiang, do you think those bastards at court will really send someone to save us?" Song Feng stared at your face. Your expression was calm as you said, "They will. They definitely will. If we survive this battle, we will be famous throughout the Tianfeng kingdom. Our descendants will have endless glory. Our families will enjoy the best treatment." Song Feng grinned. "Then I'll believe you, Brother Jiang. If I end up dying, and Brother Jiang is still alive, please bring my body back. If I can't go home alive, at least let my corpse go home. It's like falling leaves returning to their roots." You filled a bowl of wine and handed it over. You smiled and said, "If I, Jiang, die, please, everyone, carry my body back as well. After all, I haven't been back in 20 years. I miss home quite a bit too." Everyone filled a bowl of wine and drank it in one gulp. The next day, 10 Linhai Realm experts arrived with the army. You stood at the city wall with your spear, your gaze calm. Behind you, every soldier was already prepared to die. Neither side spoke a word. A massive battle broke out completely. To call it a battle is an overstatement. It was purely a slaughter. You are not the child of destiny, at least not in this life. Facing the siege of 10 Linhai Realm experts who fought without any sense of honor, even with the help of the city's formations, it was still over very quickly. Your body was mangled beyond recognition. You could clearly feel your life force draining away. Everyone in the city was dead. Only you remained, and now you were about to die too. You felt your eyelids growing heavier and heavier, and your vision became increasingly blurred. In your previous life, you died too quickly. never knowing what it was like to wait for death bit by bit. This life has finally made up for that regret. You bastard. You can't die. Vaguely in the distance, you saw a familiar purple figure, breaking through the formations of the Kanglen Kingdom's army. You felt yourself being picked up. Droplets of water fell on you one by one. You could no longer see the person's face clearly. You murmured, "Have the reinforcements arrived?" You heard the calling voices in your ears growing distant, and it seemed someone was wailing loudly. Finally, you lost consciousness. Upon waking, you were once again in that mysterious space. Everything you experienced felt like a dream, but the scenes in your mind told you that it wasn't a dream. "You idiot," you cursed softly. You didn't expect that Nangong Meng, whom you hadn't seen in half a lifetime, would actually charge into the enemy army all alone. What is the purpose of the Sky Blue sect? Where did Li Qingyu disappear to? Damn, how could they let such an idiot mess around like this? You cursed again. War between two nations is no child's play. You have no idea if Nangong managed to break through the siege in the end. Second, you're a genius in your youth. You became famous early on and avenged the blood feud of your past life. You resolved your inner struggles, reached extraordinary cultivation, broke through your limits, enjoyed a harmonious marriage, left your bloodline in the world, joined the army, achieved incredible military feats. Although you were later pushed aside by petty people and exiled to the frontier, dying a heroic death, your story still remained within Tianfeng Kingdom. The only regret in your heart is that you advanced too quickly when young. You didn't take the time to closely observe the people around you. White 9-star destiny point score, 90. Last life you accomplished that much with only 30 destiny points. Next life 90 destiny points. Isn't that like holding the ultimate trump card? At the start you considered your choices. Talent is important, added 40 points. Comprehension is also important, added 30 points. Remaining 20 points. You invested those in family background. After finishing all this, you decisively chose to begin your next life. The room was filled with all kinds of luxurious items. You looked at your soft, fair hand, unsure if you felt joy or worry. This life you awakened at age 9, 8 years earlier than your previous life's memories. And you were reborn into Tianfeng Kingdom's royal family. The bloodline is shrouded in misfortune. In this life, you still want to settle scores with Tianfeng Kingdom. So many outrageous moves. Wait, Tianfeng Kingdom hasn't been destroyed yet? You were stunned. Clearly, Kanglen's army was supposed to be unstoppable by now. You need to find out what really happened back then. You immediately walked out of the room. A smiling boy approached you. "Ninth brother, where are you going?" The boy's name was Feng Zion. He's your half-brother, third born among siblings. "Going to the library, looking for a martial technique to practice." You casually replied, "Ninth brother. Needs to practice martial arts. Just have a servant fetch a manual for you to train. Why not go yourself?" Feng Zion looked a bit puzzled. Then he brought over a bunch of messy picture books.
He chuckled.
"Ninth brother. These are treasures I've personally collected over the years. Training in martial arts isn't nearly as wonderful as exploring the meaning of life. Understanding the true meaning of life is far better." You glanced at them, thinking to yourself, "I'm still just a 9-year-old, and you want me to look at such crude things." But you obediently thanked him. "Thank you, third brother. Ninth brother will gladly accept these gifts." You quickly stashed away the crude materials. A barely noticeable hint of happiness flashed in Feng Zion's eyes. "Since you like them, then, third brother, we'll keep searching for more profound lessons in life for you." You nodded with a smile. Big and small, getting along harmoniously. After Feng Zion left, the smile on your face immediately faded. "Damn, I knew this body was still only at Key Awakening level 3. Started cultivation at age 5. At this stage, should at least be at Key Awakening level 6 or 7 by now. Struggle for the hostage prince. Terrifying as hell." You still went to the library. Inside the library, there are not only manuals of the Marquis family's techniques, but also records of events from various regions. A white-haired old man saw you arrive alone and appeared a bit surprised. Ninth young master has finally turned a corner. He remembered. Ninth young master never liked visiting the library. Such a pity for ninth young master's talent. You were a bit surprised yourself. The old man from the library somehow reached the Linhai realm. It took your previous life untold hardship to reach that stage. But remembering the library's importance, you understood. In only a month, you reached the Gathering Spirit realm. Such cultivation talent only appeared once in Tianfeng Kingdom's records. The Marquis Jinghai had a delighted smile. Thank you for the praise, Grandpa Jinghai. A small body, with bright, lively big eyes, looking adorably cute. The more the Marquis Jinghai looked, the more he liked you. But Grandpa Jinghai, who is Tianfeng Kingdom's top genius, according to historical records? Marquis Jinghai grinned. That is a legend. It said the founding of Tianfeng Kingdom was related to that person. Our family ancestor was close to that legendary man, helped the ancestor overthrow the previous dynasty's rule, established Tianfeng Kingdom. Even the ancestor once said his cultivation was far inferior to that person. When he met him, it was like gazing into the vast open sky. You were intrigued. The foreign ancestor was undoubtedly a legend, yet described himself so modestly. Is that great master still cultivating in Tianfeng Kingdom? You asked curiously. Marquis Jinghai shook his head. Ever since that legend helped the ancestor found Tianfeng Kingdom, he ventured alone into far vaster lands, and was never heard from again. You blinked, feeling excited inside. It turns out that such a big boss isn't helping Tianfeng Kingdom anymore. Yet your face looked downcast, as if disappointed. Marquis Jinghai laughed and scolded. You rascal, did you want to challenge that legend? Or you think my cultivation isn't enough to teach you? You quickly shook your head. In my eyes, Grandpa Jinghai is Tianfeng Kingdom's strongest. He supports the whole kingdom. The greatest person. He's our Feng family's bravest warrior. Marquis Jinghai's smile nearly reached his ears. You really are a smooth talker. I'm not as good as you say. You seized the chance and asked, that legendary man who helped found Tianfeng Kingdom, who was he really? Marquis Jinghai was in a good mood, so he shared this secret with you. That legendary man? His name was Mythical Li. Mythical refers to that Li family's blessed one. In the blink of an eye, 5 years passed. Under Marquis Jinghai's guidance, your cultivation grew rapidly. Soon you reached Spirit Marking Realm. Level 1 at age 14, that's shocking. When people hear about it, it nearly scares them to death. That year, Marquis Jinghai thought deeply and directly sent you to Tianfeng's 5 estates for training. Now, in the Jinghai Marquis lineage, there's no doubt you're the young master. Many times, the word young could even be dropped. All the Marquis Jinghai family's hidden and open forces you can command directly. In this life, that useless father is just a figurehead. In Marquis Jinghai's opinion, you're the true successor. When you returned to the capital, you were filled with emotions. This life, your status and talent are at the peak of Tianfeng Kingdom. If only you could slow down and savor the journey this time, maybe this life could be filled with happiness. Unfortunately, when you close your eyes, the images that come to mind are scenes from your previous life. Young Marquis, we've arrived at the Tianfeng 5 courts. The steward stands outside the carriage and quietly reminds you. You slowly step out of the carriage. Around the carriage are many mentors from Tianfeng Kingdom, and students as well. All are curiously looking at the luxurious carriage. That is where Tianfeng Kingdom's #1 prodigy resides. Ever since that day, you've attended Tianfeng 5 courts. As the foremost martial academy of Tianfeng Kingdom, its heritage speaks for itself. Its founder, like the Marquis of Coastal Waters, is one of Tianfeng Kingdom's top 10 powerhouses. Those eligible to study here, without exception, have flowing within them the bloodline of Tianfeng Kingdom's elite nobles. Young Marquis, Master Feng Hongyu has sent an invitation. He wants to invite you to attend his banquet. A girl with delicate features, educated and sensible, stands by your side. She respectfully opens her mouth to inquire. You glance at the invitation in her hand. In your mind, you recall Feng Hongyu's background. He is a prodigy from the main lineage. He broke through to the Lingwen realm at just 17. You accept the invitation, without saying much. The girl doesn't say more either. She was sent by the Marquis of Seaside to care for you as your maid. She's been with you for 3 years now. She understands your temperament as young Marquis, and knows you're probably intrigued by the banquet. After she leaves, you play with the invitation in your hand and sigh softly. That grandfather, the Marquis of Coastal Waters, truly cares about you. He's even assigned several Linhai realm experts to your side, watching over you day and night, though it's out of kindness. It also keeps you from breaking free, to visit places from your previous life, and the Lord of Spirit communication buried in the earth can't be retrieved anytime soon. You set aside the invitation and head to attend Feng Hongyu's banquet, not out of interest in the event itself, but rather for the opportunity to see Tianfeng Kingdom's top young talents, to see if there's anyone who could threaten you, or perhaps someone you could recruit for your grand ambitions, and maybe see if any old acquaintances' children are there. 5 days later, in a lavish mansion, lots of young people gather. Any of them, if picked at random and sent anywhere else, would cause a sensation. Their parents carry the most noble bloodlines within. Marquis of Coastal Waters residence. Young Marquis arrives with the servant's announcement. Everyone instinctively looks in one direction. Your expression is indifferent. You radiate noble aura. You slowly enter the palace. Scanning the room, you spot several descendants of your enemies. You calmly take your seat at the secondary table. Zhang Hongyu sees you arrive, and his face beams with joy. My father mentions you every day, describing you as someone out of this world. Now that I've met you, I see your reputation is well deserved. No wonder my father keeps you in his thoughts. Zhang Hongyu is the 43rd son of the current king of Tianfeng Kingdom.
He is deeply favored by the king.
He addresses you as brother, clearly hoping to get closer to you. You lift your gaze and calmly thank the king and prince for their kindness. Though you express gratitude, your face shows no emotion whatsoever. Cold and expressionless, you look like a block of ice. Feng Hongyu, however, doesn't mind at all. Geniuses always have some arrogance, especially one praised by all the elders in the main family. He has full confidence that he can win you over to his side. The banquet is lively with toasts. You also meet many young nobles from Tianfeng Kingdom. Each of their ancestors has great military achievements. Among them are enemies you've longed to destroy day and night. Commander of the Xuanwo army, the famous Marquis Xuanwo, son of Yu Zhengde. You lower your head, your eyes filled with murderous intent. Yu Zhengde, that old man's entire life saw only daughters, yet finally he had a son. You're not sure whether this is heaven's blessing or not. If his most precious son were to die before your eyes, what would it be like? But now is not the time. Your status this life is prestigious, and you've expended so many fate points. To perish along with Yu Zhengde's descendant would be far too much a waste. After the banquet ended, you acted as if nothing had ever happened. 3 years passed in a flash. Your cultivation reached the 7th level of the spirit vein realm. This year you were 16. You also met many geniuses of the Tianfeng Kingdom, and even the nobility. Anyone with eyes could see your future was limitless. This, however, made your brothers, and that good-for-nothing father of yours incredibly jealous. As long as you remained in the Jinghai Marquis mansion, they would never have their day. The crisp voice of Brother Feng called out. A bright smiling girl of 15 or 16 walked in. At a young age, she already possessed beauty that could topple kingdoms. Princess Huan. She was renowned as the #1 beauty of this generation in the Tianfeng Kingdom, and was the king's most beloved daughter. She was also your fiancé in this life. Besides Feng Huan, your grandfather, the Marquis of Jinghai, had also scouted many noble daughters for you, wishing for you to expand the family line. So, it's Huan. You hid the hatred in your eyes and looked up, speaking indifferently. Feng Huan bustled about and pulled out a pile of items. There were medicinal pills, cultivation techniques, and even spiritual stones. Brother Feng, you're participating in the great martial arts competition tomorrow. These things will definitely be useful to you. Feng Huan pushed a large handful of items in front of you. Her 2 watery eyes squinted into crescents, playful and spirited. If outsiders were to see that the top beauty of Tianfeng Kingdom, Princess Huan, would treat a man this way, many young talents would likely be heartbroken. Seeing so many items, a look of astonishment appeared on your face. The things Feng Huan brought were not lacking in priceless treasures. The pills were all grade 4 pills. She had likely pilfered nearly half of the national treasury. You pushed these items back, saying calmly, even without these items, I am still the top genius of the Tianfeng kingdom. You swiped so many items from the palace in one go. If your royal father finds out, the consequences might be very serious. Feng Wan shook her head repeatedly and said, Father loves me so much. He definitely won't punish me. Feng Huan pushed the items back again, with her cheeks puffed out, looking very much like a well-behaved little cat. Brother Feng, these are all gifts from me. You cannot refuse them. You had no choice but to accept the items. Seeing this, Feng Huan was overjoyed. However, you felt a faint sense of guilt in your heart. I am scheming against such a young girl. If she knew the truth, she would probably hate me to the core. The Feng Huan before me. The smile on her face never faded, like a bright moon in the darkness. The next day, geniuses from all sects gathered for the Tianfeng Kingdom's great martial arts competition. It was the year with the most geniuses in nearly a century. Unfortunately, a monster appeared in this session. Even for those geniuses, whose cultivation reached the third level of the spirit vein realm, it was still useless. Between the third level and the seventh level of the spirit vein realm, the gap was simply too vast. You didn't even move your body, defeating them with a single strike. You went to the spirit pool to cultivate, and your cultivation progressed even further, breaking through to the 8th level of the spirit vein realm. The path of cultivation in this life was smooth sailing. You trained at the Tianfeng 5 academies for another year, and your cultivation reached the 9th level of the spirit vein realm. Only then did you graduate from the Tianfeng Royal Academy, becoming the youngest graduate in the history of the 5 academies. After leaving the Tianfeng 5 academies, you did not return to the Jinghai Marquis mansion first, but went to the Azure Sky sect instead. The reason was to validate your martial arts, thus leading your maidservants, guards, and butler. You headed to the Azure Sky sect in a grand procession. Half a month later,
Inside the Azure Sky sect.
I wonder what business the young Marquis has with our Azure Sky sect. The sect leader looked at the young man before him cautiously. You said calmly, I wish to cultivate in the Azure Sky sect for half a year. This is a token of my sincerity. I hope sect leader Young will approve. You took out a jade casket and handed it to the sect leader of the Azure Sky sect. The sect leader opened the jade casket slightly. His expression changed instantly, and he snapped it shut immediately. With a face full of smiles, he said, Since it is the young Marquis's request, then it is certainly possible. However, the sect leader's face showed a hint of hesitation. Falling into a dilemma, you laughed softly and said, Senior Yang, rest assured, I will not covet your sect's core techniques, nor will I enter the forbidden grounds. Hearing this, the sect leader's face brightened with joy again, and he agreed to your request. Within the Azure Sky sect, your so-called validation of martial arts was all nonsense. What you wanted was to see an old friend. A month later, only then did the guards around you lower their guard. At your request, they allowed you to explore the Azure Sky sect on your own, and you found the place where your old friend resided. In the bamboo grove, you saw Li Qingyu again. She had aged a great deal. You still remembered when Li Qingyu came to break the engagement in your first life. That overbearing and arrogant look. What you saw now was a lonely old woman, keeping company with the bamboo forest all day long. It turned out nearly 200 years had already passed. All the events of the previous life, even you could barely remember them clearly. The young Marquis seems to recognize this old woman. Li Qingyu was very confused. Why did the young man's gaze toward her carry a faint sense of familiarity? As if he were seeing an old friend he hadn't met in a long time. You nodded and said, Though I have never met Senior Li before, I have often heard of Senior Li's deeds. Li Qingyu gave a self-mocking smile. What deeds could this old woman possibly have? They are likely just old stories made up by others, for the amusement of others. You fell silent for a moment. It was indeed as Li Qingyu said. Her past act of breaking the engagement had long been turned into a fictional storybook, and was quite a bestseller. Unfortunately, the protagonist did not end up like the one in the book, becoming world famous. You were not Zhao Huo, and Li Qingyu was not Nalan Yanran. You were a bit curious, and asked, Senior Li, why did you decide to break the engagement back then? A flicker of surprise flashed in Li Qingyu's eyes. She didn't expect this high-status young marquis to be so interested in gossip. She let out a soft sigh. If she were younger, she certainly wouldn't be willing to talk about these things. But now she was old. After the last battle, her remaining lifespan was meager. The once blurred memories in her mind had become clearer and clearer during this time. Perhaps having a listener wouldn't be so bad. Li Qingyu smiled. Since the young marquis is so interested in my story, then I shall tell you about these old events from years ago. You poured 2 cups of tea, placed them before the two of you, and listened quietly. This entire tragedy stemmed from my thoughts being too naive when I was young. The fiancé I was betrothed to was only the son of a small family clan leader, but I was chosen by my master, with the hope of stepping into a higher realm of cultivation. At that time, I was young and arrogant, thinking there were countless heroes in the world. How could I, Li Qingyu, settle for living a quiet life as a wife and mother in a small family? Even though I'm a woman, Li Qingyu, I also aspire to meet and compete with the heroes of the world. I naturally recall my youthful self. A smile appeared on Li Qingyu's face. She never regretted joining the Sky Blue sect, nor did she ever regret breaking off the engagement. You fell silent. If you were the one in first place, you truly wouldn't be worthy of Li Qingyu. The two families are just old acquaintances. Your relationship with Li Qingyu is decent, but that's all it is. It can't really be called one-sided dedication. It was only later that you got swept up in the broken engagement drama. You asked elder Li Qingyu if this was the reason she broke off the engagement back then. Faced with your question, Li Qingyu was silent for a moment. In a hoarse voice, she said yes and no. If he were my husband, I, Li Qingyu, would accept it. But he cannot be my fiancé. From childhood, my parents and clansmen always told me that I had to marry into his family, to become husband and wife with him. But I was born to hate my own fate. Manipulated by others, you were stunned. You didn't expect that Li Qingyu broke off the engagement. For this very reason, Li Qingyu noticed your surprise, and with a smile said, "Young Marquis, you seem surprised, right? All those stories say that I am someone who abandoned her fiancé for ambition. And I did indeed do that. If that's what you think, young Marquis, that's fine too." You nodded seriously. Even you thought the same. You continued, "Elderly never married in her life. Did you ever regret breaking off the engagement back then?" This time it was Li Qingyu's turn to be stunned. It was as if she saw a figure from her memory, someone whose face had long grown blurry, sitting across from her, asking her this very question. After a long while, Li Qingyu snapped back to reality. The face before her was a stranger's, not the face from her memories. Regret? Maybe. There are times when I do wonder, if I hadn't broken off the engagement back then, would my life have turned out differently? The path of cultivation is extremely lonely. I've met countless geniuses along the way, but none gave me the same feeling as before. If I hadn't broken off the engagement back then, would he have avoided being killed by his enemies? Would his entire clan have survived? Throughout her life, Li Qingyu's aspirations surpassed those of most men. She fought her way from a small place, and eventually became an elder of the Sky Blue sect. Regret? Maybe that's just something that comes with age? And no more dreams left. Watching her loved ones pass away one by one, she started to reminisce about those times. But back then, she never regretted any of her choices. Your heart was filled with mixed emotions. You had imagined countless times what it would be like to meet Li Qingyu again, but never thought it would be in a scene like this. Out of pity for your old age, I'll let you off this time. In your heart, you reminisced about the past. By now, you no longer cared to judge right or wrong. You only knew that soon you'd have one less old friend. Young Marquis, do you have any more questions? Li Qingyu slowly finished the tea in her cup in one gulp. You stood up and thanked Elder Li for clearing things up. This changed your impression of Elder Li. Li Qingyu smiled and said, "That's just what people think. That's the impression of the world. I just want to be true to myself. So why should I care about what the world thinks?" You said nothing more, simply stood up to take your leave, leaving a few parting words as a token of thanks. "I swear by the Marquis Jinghai's estate, I will definitely bring back Nengong Ming's body for you, Elder." Back at the Sky Blue sect, Li Qingyu's pupils widened. Then she smiled again. She didn't say any words of thanks. She only looked in the direction you left and called out, "Young Marquis." You turned around to look at Li Qingyu. The two of you exchanged glances. Li Qingyu thought of the young man of so many years ago, and his eyes seemed just like this youth's. Li Qingyu thought of many things. But in the end, all she said was, "Take care, young Marquis." You smiled and said, "Elder Li, you too." In the rustling bamboo forest, Li Qingyu was left all alone in the end. She walked alone deeper into the bamboo grove. Here stood one gravestone after another, marking those she had lost. There was her only disciple, Meng, her teacher, her parents and family, and the grave of a fiancé named Su Jiwu. Li Qingyu sat in front of the grave, softly murmuring, "You always said 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river, but now 200 years have passed. Yet you have never come to the Sky Blue sect. On the other side, your journey here was to finally settle the karma from your first life, and also to say his last farewell to this old friend. Li Qingyu is dying. 20 years ago, after you and Meng died in battle in your previous life, Li Qingyu fought through the ranks alone, but ended up trapped in an ambush. In the end, Yu Zhen led his army and arrived just in time. That's how Li Qingyu managed to survive. But that day, he also suffered irreversible injuries." You sighed deeply. Old friends keep passing away one after another, like leaves falling in the wind. The grudges of youth don't matter anymore. The traces left from your first life eventually get erased by time. 7 days later, news of Li Qingyu's death spread. After a brief moment of sorrow at Tianlin sect, no one ever mentioned Li Qingyu again. You've come to terms with it. The bottleneck at the Linhai stage that never loosened finally began to shift. So you decided to keep living at Tianlin sect. And you ended up staying much longer than the expected half a year. You stayed for a whole year. You were 18 that year. The youngest Linhai stage martial artist in the kingdom of Tianfeng was born. In your past life, reaching this point took you 70 years to break through the Linhai stage. From now on, you'll have to pave your own path. But at least, in this life, there is still the kingdom of Tianfeng, and there's Marquis Jinghai, one of the top 10 strongest fighters. This time, your ancestor doesn't have to struggle and grope forward alone like in your previous lives. After paying respects to Li Qingyu, you left Tianlin sect and returned to Marquis Jinhai's residence. However, something unexpected happened on the road. You were ambushed? A total of 15 Linhai level experts were dispatched. Hey, who are you people? That you dare target the young Marquis? Aren't you afraid Marquis Jinhai will punish you and implicate your families? The steward shielded you behind him. The Linhai level guards lined up in front of you, protecting you thoroughly, but they were all wary of the men in black surrounding them. They've got 15 Linhai level fighters on your side. Even counting you, there are only 8 Linhai stage fighters. It's nearly double your strength. Hey, since we're bold enough to ambush the young Marquis, of course we're not afraid. One of the black-clad men, looking confident and in control, mocked aloud. Suddenly, all of the black-clad assailants attacked at once. The steward blocked 4 Linhai-level fighters and shouted, "Young Marquis, run, I'll hold them off for you." You didn't hesitate, instantly unleashing your Linhai-level aura. After taking down one of the black-clad attackers, without looking back, you dashed toward the Jinghai Marquis's manor. Damn it, how did he break through to the Linhai level so quickly? One of the black-clad men exclaimed. It all happened in a split second, as your bodyguards and steward risked their lives to hold off the attackers that outnumbered them 2 to 1. Young Marquis, please forgive us. We can no longer serve you. You must live on. A thunderous roar echoed in all directions, like a dragon turning the earth, shaking the surroundings. Sensing the upheaval, you realized the steward was buying you time with his life. Seeing the moment had come, you wasted no time, desperately rushing toward Marquis Jinghai's manor. If you died like this in this life, you'd cough up blood. Amidst the devastation in the distance, 3 people crawled out in utter defeat. Of the 15 Linhai-level attackers who targeted you, only 3 remained. The 3 didn't care about their own injuries and forced out every ounce of strength they had. Pursuing hot on your trail, you were hunted every step of the way. And after 4 days and nights of evasion, you finally made it back within Marquis Jinghai's territory. Grandpa, save me! You shouted in the direction of Marquis Jinghai's manor. Instantly, within Jinhai Marquis's residence, several terrifying auras turned your way. Without exception, they were all at the Lingpo stage. You were inwardly amazed at how frightening the foundation of Marquis Jinghai was. At this moment, a thunderous roar shook the sky. How dare you try to harm my beloved grandson? I will overturn heaven and earth and scour the entire kingdom of Tianfeng to make all of you criminals pay the price. A colossal Lingpo true form manifested, reaching out a giant hand, covering the sky. The three men chasing you saw this and were filled with utter despair. It was all over in an instant. Their eyes steeled with resolve, and they instantly triggered their internal energy and chose to self-destruct. The Marquis of Jinghai looked absolutely grim. At this moment, you could not hold on any longer. Your energy was completely used up, and you fell unconscious, falling from the sky. But thankfully, Marquis Jinghai reacted quickly and caught you. No matter who tried to hurt you, your grandpa will make sure you get justice. Marquis Jinghai's gaze was icy cold. If he hadn't arrived at the critical moment, this promising junior might have died right in front of him. Half a month went by before you finally woke up from your coma. Looks like you've drawn too much attention in this life, making many forces wary of you, afraid that there might arise someone even more terrifying than that founding ancestor in Tiandom, someone even more formidable. That was the only reason you could think of. But you had no idea which factions wanted you dead. But none of that mattered anymore. Those chasing you are all either dead or crippled. Suddenly, an idea occurred to you. Surprise began to show on your face. You were still thinking about how to draw Marquis Jinghai into your quest for revenge. Isn't this the perfect opportunity now? You're awake. A caring voice sounded from outside, to prevent anyone inside Marquis Jinghai's manor from plotting against you while you were unconscious. He had stayed by your side the whole time. You got up, bowed, and said, "Thank you, Grandpa, for saving my life. If you hadn't arrived in time, your grandson would already be dead."
Hearing this,
A mix of anger and relief flashed through Marquis Jinhai's eyes. "Don't worry. With me here, you're absolutely safe inside this manor. You're completely safe here. The forces behind those who tried to kill you, I'm already investigating them. No matter who they are, I'll make them pay." You asked your grandfather, "Have you found any leads yet?" Marquis Jinghai's face darkened, and he shook his head. "No matter how hard I dig, every clue gets wiped out by an invisible hand. But among the attackers, I found a special token of a spy from the Kanglin Kingdom." You cursed to yourself, "Damn it."
it's Kanglin Kingdom again.
You're not surprised there were strong fighters from Kanglin among your pursuers. After all, the Kanglin Kingdom and Tianfeng are bitter rivals. They've been enemies for generations. But they're definitely not the only ones who ordered your death. You steady your thoughts and ask, "Grandpa, have you ever considered the possibility that someone deliberately steered all the clues to point toward the Kanglin Kingdom?" Marquis Jinghai's eyes flickered, and he said calmly, "Go on." You continued, "Grandpa, in your opinion, if I grow stronger, who would feel most threatened? Who would I pose the greatest threat to?" Marquis Jinghai stared at you, but you weren't the least bit afraid, meeting his gaze steadily. After a long silence, he finally said, "You should know. This is no small matter. For our Marquis Jinghai's household, some things could spell total destruction. Even wild speculation is dangerous." You replied calmly, "Of course I understand, Grandpa. But the steward who protected me, he died just like that. He's also one of your grandson's relatives." This anger, your grandson can't swallow it. Jinghai Marquis didn't scold you. He just calmly asked, "Do you have any evidence?" You shook your head. "Evidence? I don't have any. But within the kingdom, someone with this much power, besides that person, who else could it be? Haven't you also long suspected in your heart, great-grandfather?" "Great-grandfather, I ask you to act on my behalf. Fengding Grandpa cannot die in vain." A sudden smile appeared on Jinghai Marquis's lips. He said joyfully, "Now that's the descendant I'm proud of. Rest assured, my grandson. Fengding's death, I will definitely seek justice for him. That group of idiots outside, if they weren't related to me by blood, I would have executed them long ago. A bunch of useless cowards." You can see Jinghai Marquis can't hide his affection for you in his eyes. This truly is the descendant he's most proud of. Not just exceptionally talented, but also highly intelligent, keen-minded. Seeing how quickly Jinghai Marquis changes his face, you pause for a moment. You didn't expect this great-grandfather, didn't need any instigation from you at all, and was already suspicious of that one deep in the palace. Everything just now seemed like a test. Jinghai Marquis gives a mysterious smile. Are you curious why I know who's behind it all, but never went looking for an explanation? You nodded. You knew very well how fond this great-grandfather was of you. You truly understood it in your heart. Jinghai Marquis gave a cold laugh. Even if I barged into the palace to demand an explanation, even if I find the main culprit, at best, only a few insignificant people might die. My grandson almost died, so naturally, it's not possible for just a few nobodies to die for this. It's not that simple. I'm going to make that person pay with blood. Let him know. If my grandson can bear the consequences. You look at the commanding aura of Jinghai Marquis and curiously ask, Great-grandfather, how are you going to do it? Jinghai Marquis's gaze turned deep. Of course it'll be a river of blood. If you want a river of blood, then it has to be war. I'm going to make the Tianfeng kingdom go to war with the Kanglan kingdom. Then Jinghai Marquis looked over to you, his grandson smiling. Which legion do you like? Whichever one you like, I'll give it to you as a gift. Hearing this, your pupils suddenly shrank. The current king commands the Zhuangjie, Xuanyuan, Shanwo, and Zhonling, the 4 great legions. Among them, the commander of the Xuanru Legion is Yu Zhengde. Jinghai Marquis actually wants to give you one of them. As a present. Without any hesitation, you said, Great-grandfather, I want the Xuanwo Legion. You thought making Yu Zhengde pay the price would at least take decades. Never thought it would happen so soon. Jinghai Marquis nodded. At that time, I'll make Yu Zhengde make a fatal mistake. All you need to do is take over his command and in place our Jinghai Marquis household people within the Xuanwo Legion. A few days later, news spread from the capital. The Kanglan kingdom tried to assassinate the young Marquis of the Jinghai Marquis household, almost costing Tianfeng kingdom an unparalleled genius. The Xuanru Legion, led by Commander Yu Zhengde, was sent to attack the Kanglan kingdom. No negotiation, no tug of war. It all happened so suddenly. Shanwo Marquis Mansion, thanks to his previous merits in protecting the Tianfeng kingdom. Yu Zhengde, within the imperial court, now answers only to the king alone, and stands above all others. After having a son, his son also had a grandson. Yu Zhengde held the chubby, fair baby in his arms, not wanting to let go. Report, Marquis, urgent news. A guard rushed in a frenzy, shattering the warm moment. The smile on Yu Zhengde's face vanished, replaced with a chilling, murderous air. Speak, what's going on? The guard hurriedly replied, Marquis, the king wants the marshal to lead the Xuanwo Legion to attack the Kanglan kingdom. A trace of surprise appeared on Yu Zhengde's face. He now stands as the top commander among the 4 legions. That king would never mobilize him lightly. The guard replied nervously.
He's the young lord of the Marquis of Coastal Waters' residence. He was targeted for assassination by Cerulean Kingdom's guards.
This infuriated the Marquis of Coastal Waters. He personally headed to the capital. Afterward, His Majesty agreed to the Marquis's demands. He ordered the marshal to deploy troops at any cost to seek justice for the young lord. Yu Zhengde suddenly understood everything. He was still curious who could be so brazen. Never expected it was the Cerulean Kingdom's doing. Although Yu Zhengde was also a Marquis, his title was nowhere near as prestigious as the Marquis of Coastal Waters. Because his own estate didn't even have a single spirit soul realm expert. He earned his title solely from defeating the Cerulean army last time, turning the tide of battle.
He was made Marquis for his military merits.
Soon, the entire Xuanwo army mobilized. Marshal Yu Zhengde, you are to supervise. A group of Limhai-level experts followed at your side. Among them was an old man who remained silent. His gaze was indifferent. He was a spirit soul realm powerhouse. You met Yu Zhengde. This nemesis of yours kept smiling ingratiatingly. He even introduced his son, Yu Tianlu, to you. You nodded calmly, as if none of this mattered to you. Such a cold attitude gave them both the cold shoulder, but actually put Yu Zhengde at ease. It seemed the young Marquis was solely focused on revenge. If this old man could help him vent his anger, he'd owe him a favor. And the Yu family could prosper for centuries more. The army marched in grand formation. headed straight for the Cerulean Kingdom. Cerulean Kingdom, caught unprepared, was completely taken by surprise. You simply watched this all unfold in silence, calculating when the army would be deep enough within enemy territory. If you wanted Yu Zheng utterly ruined, you couldn't rush things. 2 months later, a piece of news nearly made Yu Zheng black out. His son had been careless for a moment and fell into an ambush by the Wolf Kingdom, where he was captured alive. He had a late son and poured so much effort into him. He desperately wanted to rescue Yu Tianlu, but the Wolf Kingdom's condition was that Yu Zheng withdraw the troops. Only then would they send Yu Tianlu back to the Tianfeng Kingdom safe and sound. Otherwise, all that would return was a cold corpse. Yu Zheng clenched his teeth hard. The old man threw himself to his knees in front of you. Young Marquis, please save Tianlu. He's my only child. I can't bear to watch him die. Yu Zheng knew
He had no power to give the order to retreat.
that authority lay instead with the young man before him. You sat in your chair, with a faint, almost imperceptible smile, and said calmly, I understand how the Marquis of Silvanwo feels. Yu Zhendi's face lit up with hope. Could it be the young lord agrees to withdraw the troops? But I know, war is no child's play. Our Tianfeng Kingdom has already lost countless soldiers. If we retreat this easily, how could we answer to the fallen? This war cannot be decided for the sake of a single life. Marshal Yu, please return. You waved your hand, leaving the old man on the ground to accept a fate beyond his control. If Yu Zheng were to retreat, he'd be disregarding the royal command. Everything he gained would vanish overnight. With a few words from you, Yu Zheng could be declared a traitor for siding with the Cerulean Kingdom. Yu Zheng looked up and let out a bitter laugh. Young lord, I understand. There was something he didn't say, and didn't dare to say. He wanted to ask you who started this war, but his last bit of reason held him back. Yu Zheng didn't even know how he made it out of the tent. Inside, you sipped tea leisurely. The gray-robed elder behind you scoffed in disdain. A power without a spirit soul realm guardian is destined to be nothing but a pawn. If I, Master Feng, let him live, he'd be a marquis above all but one.
If I, Master Feng, let him die,
He'd be a fish on the chopping board. You let out a low laugh. What a damned world. It really does suit a fantasy world where strength reigns supreme. Seeing Tianfeng Kingdom had no intention of retreating. Cerulean Kingdom brought Yu Tianlu to the front lines. Father, save me. I don't want to die. Yu Tianlu knelt on the high platform, with an executioner standing beside him. The executioner held a broad blade to Yu Tianlu's neck. Yu Zhengdi's lips turned white. He wept in anguish. Tianlu, my son, it's not that I don't want to save you. It's that I can't. I don't even dare to try. Yu Zhendi's throat worked up and down, and after a long silence finally croaked out one word, execute. The troops pressed the attack, making Cerulean Kingdom's generals very uneasy. On the tower, the executioner got the order. He instantly chopped off Yu Tianlu's head. Yu Zheng, witnessing this, was left in a daze. Not until the army repelled Cerulean Kingdom's forces did he woodenly walk to Yu Tianlu's corpse, placing the head back on the headless body. Again and again, Marshal Yu, please accept my condolences. You walked up to Yu Zhengji's side, your tone emotionless. Yu Zheng snapped back to his senses and looked up, meeting your indifferent gaze. What you saw were eyes full of resentment, but you paid it no mind. As long as Yu Zheng couldn't restrain his rage, he could easily crush that commander to death. But Yu Zheng held back. That made you lose interest. But the game could go on a little longer, so it wasn't over just yet. Back in his tent, Yu Zheng could no longer hold back, and coughed up a mouthful of blood. Seeing your own child die before your eyes, a parent burying their own offspring. Nothing is more tragic. He only wanted this war to end as soon as possible, so he could go back to the Yu family. But you weren't finished having fun, so it was impossible for Yu Zheng to withdraw. He could only be your hound, obeying your orders. One day, a month later, Yu Zheng received a mysterious letter. Your Majesty, Your Majesty. He wanted to use this chance to ally with the Cerulean Kingdom and eliminate the young lord. Yu Zhendi's eyes widened. He couldn't be mistaken. This letter was written by the king himself. Yu Zheng had an epiphany. A genius like the young marquis was the greatest threat to any ruler. Yu Zheng hated you for coldly watching his son die. Just as the old Marquis predicted, the king truly couldn't let it go. The old man by your side snorted coldly. With his deliberate attention, nothing Yu Zhang did could escape him. You fell into deep thought. Damn, he's still not giving up. Is the king really that stupid? Or is it all on purpose? You felt the situation getting more and more complicated. If it's just stupidity, fine. But if it's intentional, you'll have to reassess the king. Yu Zhang was completely unaware of all this. He has been blinded by hatred. Even if there's only a sliver of a chance, he'll take the gamble. Eventually, the army pressed deep inside. Yu Zhang removed the guards that were protecting you. It was a dark and windy night. A mysterious figure appeared in the tent, but you weren't the least bit surprised by the arrival of a soul spirit realm master. The elderly man in the gray robe behind you recognized the intruder and announced his identity with a single sentence: Violet Lightning Monkey. I didn't expect the Azure Kingdom would actually send you here. That shook Violet Lightning Monkey to his core. Damn, I walked right into their trap. Realizing the danger, Violet Lightning Monkey immediately tried to escape. But the elder's withered hand gripped a long spear. The power of his soul burst forth, turning the night as bright as day. The generals present realized something was wrong and shouted to protect the young Marquis. If the young Marquis were to die here, everyone near him would be implicated. You're the lord of the Jinghong Spear. I can't believe you're still alive. Violet Lightning Monkey was terrified. A single spear strike from Jinghong once amazed entire eras. It's been 500 years since he dominated the lands. Many assumed the Jinghong Spear Lord was long dead. Now he appeared alive right in front of Violet Lightning Monkey. This is a powerhouse of the 5th level of the Soul Spirit realm, while Violet Lightning Monkey is only at the 3rd level. He didn't dare fight. He just wanted to retreat as fast as possible. But how could the Jinghong Spear Lord possibly allow Violet Lightning Monkey to escape before his very eyes? Damn you, Yu Zhang. This is just too much. So this is your so-called ordinary soul spirit realm. Just an unremarkable old man. Violet Lightning Monkey cursed under his breath. The Jinghong Spear Lord is definitely among the top 10 powerhouses in the Azure Kingdom. Violet Lightning Monkey's words were clearly heard by everyone on the ground. Their eyes were full of fear. Apparently, their commander-in-chief was trying to collude with the Azure Kingdom to kill the young Marquis. The thought alone sent chills down their spines. They felt that something major was about to happen. Yu Zheng was inside his tent, secretly hoping that, if you died, he could use it as an excuse to withdraw the troops. But Violet Lightning Monkey's words shattered his fantasy. Yu Zheng walked out of the tent in disbelief and saw for himself Violet Lightning Monkey being chased by the familiar gray-robed elder. His mind drew a complete blank. Soon countless soldiers and guards surrounded Yu Zheng. You calmly approached. When Yu Zheng saw you, it was like a bolt from the blue. His legs gave out, and he dropped directly to his knees. Young Marquis, this wasn't my doing. It really wasn't me. I didn't collude with the Azure Kingdom to harm you. This must be a tactic to sow discord by the Azure Kingdom. Yu Zheng kept insisting on his innocence, trying to prove his own case. You coldly ordered them to take him away. The guards closed in immediately. Yu Zheng still tried to resist, but was subdued quickly. Thus you took temporary control of the Zhuanwu army. The Jinghong Spear Lord also brought back Violet Lightning Monkey's head. You couldn't help but marvel. What a fierce man to lead the Zhuanwu army. You immediately reshuffled the generals. Everyone associated with Yu Zheng had their cultivation abolished and were imprisoned. After you led the Zhuanwu army in a few symbolic battles, you returned triumphantly to the capital, Tianfeng Kingdom. As you returned to the capital, a message quickly spread within Tianfeng Kingdom. The Zhuanwu commander colluded with the Kangling Kingdom, trying to harm the young Marquis of the Jinghai Marquisate, almost costing 1 million Zhuanwu soldiers their lives. But in the end, the young Marquis exposed the plot and turned the tide single-handedly, even forcing the Kangling Kingdom to sign a series of treaties, winning a complete victory. The corpse of Nangang Meng, after several decades, was also returned by you to the Sky Blue sect to be laid to rest. The king was overjoyed and granted you the title Champion Marquis. A young man being made a Marquis quickly became a widely celebrated story in Tianfeng Kingdom. In a tavern on the hills of the capital, You looked down at the scenery below. Ever since that day, Yu Zhengde was completely condemned as a traitor colluding with Kangling Kingdom. Unfortunately, he died early in prison. Once, the Yu family held a prestigious status below, but now they are reduced to prisoners, one after another mercilessly executed. You watch this scene and smile lightly. What goes around comes around. He rose by erasing all your achievements from your past life. Yet in this life was swiftly wiped out along with his clan. Brother Feng, what are you looking at? Feng Huayan muttered, breaking the silence. It's rare to see the one you love as the #1 beauty in Tianfeng Kingdom. Instead of looking at me, you're staring out the window. You turned back, smiled, and said, "It's nothing. Just seeing something. Reminded me of old memories. Huayan, next year I'll marry you." Upon hearing this, Feng Huayan's jade-like fair face visibly flushed with excitement. After a long pause, Huayan softly said, "You'd better not go back on your word." You nodded, smiling openly. "I absolutely won't break my promise." At night, after Feng Huayan returned to the palace, you sighed, thinking, what a silly girl. But now that you have royal status, there's so much more you can accomplish. A year went by. Your cultivation finally reached the second stage of Linhai realm. You turned 20 this year, and, as promised, married Feng Huayan. The entire Jinghai Marquisate bustled with joy. The #1 beauty of Tianfeng Kingdom had gotten married. All the wine in the tavern was finished that day. Countless outstanding young men were left mourning. But that man is the top genius of Tianfeng Kingdom. Just simply too dazzling. After marrying Feng Huayan, you officially took over Jinghai Marquisate. Your brothers and father were very dissatisfied, resenting you for taking away their power. On a trip passing through Baifeng City, you quietly vanished without a trace, and reappeared at a place from your past. The place was covered in dust. You saw gravestones on the mountain behind the house. Offerings of wine and sacrificial items still remained on the tombstones. Were they here? You thought of your childhood friends from your past life. You didn't touch any of the offerings, but paid your respects, one by one, to Father Zhang, Mother Zhang, Wang Bailu, and your own children. Rest assured, soon enough I'll make the Fengshi clan pay. You murmured in your heart. Following the traces left from your previous life, you dug out the Tongling technique. This was your card for revenge.
Inside the Jinghai Marquisate,
Great-grandfather's eyes widened, staring in disbelief at the technique in his hands. His shock turned into joy, and then gradually grew heavy. In this world today, there are only 2 places with king-level techniques. First, the main lineage of the Feng clan, which only the current king may practice. Second, the Li family of Taiyuan, the techniques left by Li Shenhua. But unfortunately, no one in the Li clan has mastered them. Now, there is a 3rd place. Great-grandfather, you should go into seclusion. Perhaps you'll find a new breakthrough with the Tongling technique, and reach even greater heights. You smiled, moving the Marquis deeply. Among the useless children he fathered, at least one true dragon finally emerged. Once the Jinghai Marquis went into seclusion, your expression returned to calm. Handing over the Tongling technique was intentional. After all, he is your strongest ally. If you want to challenge the main lineage, you have to see if the Marquis can comprehend the Tongling technique. If he can reach a higher level, your odds against the main lineage will rise further. As for whether the Marquis will act against the main lineage, you smiled faintly. Of course he will. Everyone harbors desires. And once they have power, those desires become boundless. What you still need is an opportunity. A good father, good brothers, and a good king. That opportunity will have to come from them. You chuckled softly. You understood. These people would never give up wanting you dead. And you can't wait much longer. If you go on like this for decades more, maybe your facade as a fake genius will fall apart. Your vitality was fading too fast, and you could only mask it with secret techniques. After 10 years of your leadership, the Jinghai Marquisate ran smoothly and efficiently. Ever since the Marquis got the Tongling technique, he stayed in seclusion, coming out only once, to give you the complete Tongling technique. Before returning to seclusion again, Feng Huayan quietly nestled in your arms, like a gentle kitten. Huayan, don't you want our children to become the most honored people in this kingdom? Your slightly playful voice rang clearly in Feng Huayan's ears. Feng Huayan shook his head. I just want our family to live peacefully like this, you replied with a helpless tone. But what if your father, the king, fears me and wants to have me killed? Feng Huayan's eyes widened, and he shook his head vigorously. That's impossible. How could father ever want to kill you? You're his champion marquis. You smiled, but did not answer. A few days later, you took Feng Huayan, along with your children and a group of guards, and left the Jinghai Marquisate. The flowers in Hundred Flowers Valley have bloomed. Feng Huayan had been thinking about them, so you took him there to see them. After you left, a shadow appeared in the Jinghai Marquisate, jealously watching the direction you went. That old guy is hiding something big. There must be a shocking secret. That bastard wants to steal my future position. This time's inescapable plot. Let's see how you survive. As expected, on the road to Hundred Flowers Valley, you were ambushed. This time, nearly 20 Spirit Sea cultivators struck together.
Each one
Was much stronger than those Spirit Sea assassins, who'd attacked you more than a decade ago, by a wide margin. There was even a presence as deep as the abyss. This was a Spirit Soul Realm Master. Your guards were all slaughtered, and you two were severely wounded, fighting desperately to protect Feng Huayan and your own child. Who are you? Who on earth are you? Why did you attack my husband? Feng Huayan looked at you, gravely wounded, and remembered the words you had said. Feng Huayan looked up at the figure in the Spirit Soul realm. He asked, "Are you someone sent by my royal father?" Princess, the Spirit Soul realm expert, couldn't help but speak. I soon realized something. His voice trembled. Princess Huayan, you should never have asked that question. Feng Huayan sneered at the corners of her mouth. Do you really think I should just stand by and watch my own husband die right in front of me? Then survive by accident, only because I fell unconscious? Let my child inherit the Jinghai Marquis mansion without knowing anything. And then watch as the Jinghai Marquis mansion is slowly devoured bit by bit. Then, inadvertently, you smiled, your goal achieved. A long spear came crashing down like a mountain from the sky. Lin Haijing, unable to dodge in time, was instantly reduced to dust. An old man in a gray robe strode through the sky from afar, radiating an overwhelming sense of oppression. Spear Master Jinghong. It's you! The black-robed man on the verge of breakthrough exclaimed. Luckily, the old Marquis was worried about Chanara's safety, so he sent me to secretly follow behind. I never imagined you'd be so utterly heartless, trying time and again to murder the young Marquis, and even so malicious as to want to kill your own son. Spear Master Jinghong glanced coldly at the silhouette behind the black-robed elder. That very silhouette behind him, stared at by Spear Master Jinghong. He didn't even turn around and fled directly. But Spear Master Jinghong merely raised his hand and waved. A shadow of a spear flashed by, piercing straight through the would-be escapee. The enemies were utterly annihilated. In the end, you were victorious. You returned to the Jinghai Marquis mansion. Grievously injured, you fell into a coma. Feng Huayan remained by your side the whole time, waiting until you woke up. Feng Huayan softly said, Husband, I want our child to become the most noble person in this kingdom. He set his mind and chose his own husband and child. Your heart filled with joy, knowing the time was almost right. The next day, you brought in your brothers and sisters, and your younger siblings as well. A list appeared in your hand. Going down the list, wherever you went, a head would fall. Feng Zayan had never experienced such a terrifying day. One familiar head after another rolled to the ground with a thud. You walked up to Feng Zayan. Remember, it was this guy who once tried to get you lost in trivial distractions and neglect your cultivation. Feng Zayan suddenly dropped to his knees. Ninth brother, I really didn't take part in plotting against you. You have to believe me. I believe you, Zayan. Brother doesn't have the guts for that. You nodded, then gave a gentle smile. But brother Zayan, your mother paid a hefty price to hire Lin Haijing assassins twice to be involved in this matter. Feng Zayan's pupils suddenly contracted, and then his head fell to the ground. Moments later, you casually tore up the list in your hand and scattered it on the ground. The list was simply made up on the spot. Now, you are the only direct bloodline left in the Jinghai Marquis family. If you become king, you'll be the only king. 20 years passed in a blink. Your cultivation broke through the Lingpo realm. Within a radius of several kilometers, everything was under your control. With just a thought, you could change heaven and earth. Your efforts weren't wasted. Even if you broke through the Lingpo realm, you could only live another 5 or 6 years at most. During these 20 years, the actions of the king became more and more outrageous. He started weakening the collateral branches, reducing the martial resources available to you. They became increasingly scarce. More and more collateral disciples were persecuted. The other Marquis families were also suffering. You looked at the jade slip in your hand and wrote 6 words for the military strategy: save the nation in crisis. You no longer had time to wait for the Jinghai Marquis to break through. Just endure a little longer. Whether the Jinghai Marquis can reach half-step Tongshuan, you don't know. But you might be the first to enter the grave. You decided to unite the other collateral branches and rebel together. If you can't destroy the Qianfeng kingdom, you'll cripple it. Then let the next life finish it. With Feng Huaiyan taking the lead, the matter was quickly settled. In an instant, the Qianfeng kingdom was thrown into the most brutal civil war in its history. All 8 marquis rebelled at the same time. The Lingpo realm masters involved were no fewer than 20. Among them, 7 of the top 10 hidden masters were involved in the conflict. All participated in the battle. Rivers and great lakes were covered with corpses. How do you think the world will view me? You looked at the scenes you had created with your own hands, holding Feng Huaiyan's hand, and quietly asked. Feng Huaiyan smiled. If my husband is successful, he will be the forefather of loyalty. If my husband fails, I, Huaiyan, will follow and accompany my husband into the depths of the 9 netherworlds. So why worry about how the world sees you? She said solemnly, winner takes all, loser gets nothing. This is an eternal truth. Feng Huaiyan gently said. In Huaiyan's heart, my husband will always be king. Old couples like us feel strangely moved for some reason. What's going on? You hugged Feng Huaiyan, whispering, I'm sorry, in your heart. Ever since you learned about the Zhang family tragedy as a child, there was no turning back. Everything you did was just to seek justice for your previous life. The moment you chose to burn your lifespan for faster cultivation, you were destined to walk a path of no return. You weren't a genius equal to the Taizu, nor a prodigy like Li Shenhua, just a Daoist who burned his lifespan to fool the people. Whether it was worth it, you didn't know. You couldn't distinguish right from wrong, but you had no choice but to step into the game yourself. Half a victory against heaven.